wound up finding the loss there. I know they didn't win totally, but I liked what I saw out of them. Home FA bringing it back. This is what I was talking about. Like I said, change of play style, different approach to the game, different picks. I don't know what it was, but Homie didn't look like Homie last split. And in his words, that might have been his best split. All right, but when it comes down to it, it's a play style thing. I like to see Homie on these carries. I think that's what he excels at. Statistically, maybe Homie did the best split of his life last split. But eye test, more games like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see him controlling the situation.
He's very comfortable always diving all backlines whenever he has the opportunity.
Shouts to Aggro.
But the Camazotz play paired up with the Ganesh, paired up with the Raven, it just didn't provide the oomph that Space Station needed.
Sure, and that was just a fantastic performance by Luminosity. I don't think that was. I think Homie FA played his brains out, and that Luminosity Gaming wins despite Homie FA's performance there. And just going back to it, my final point on the jungler is that's the style. Like, I like to see players identify what they're good at and stick to a style. I think that's why we've seen everybody succeed where they've succeeded. So I want to see Space Station Gaming succeed, and they give Camazotz one more time to the jungler. I think this is the way to do it.
This time, Luminosity, because they banned Fafnir, they're leaving the Kukulkan open, so that's going to be an interesting matchup for Scary D, but Aquarius running it back on the Osiris. Very difficult to really kill this Osiris, no matter what jungler is being played by Homie FA.
Yeah, the Nemesis selection here by Luminosity, a nice choice, although there's, your short side of the jungle already sort of set up with the Kukulkan and the Camazotz. One more time, we'll see Zapman on the Jingwei. I don't think there was anything wrong with Space Station Gaming's picks and bans. Maybe a different character in the solo lane. Robin didn't seem to be able to do what SSG wanted him to do. They tried to give him that Robin lead, and he wasn't really able to get it, and so it all kind of fell through.
They got the early picks onto Aquarius. They bullied him out, but I think it was just the constant repetition of the speed buff invades, of the blue buff invades, that eventually fell in line for Luminosity to finally adapt to it, make those rotations happen, stopping Space Station in their tracks and getting back into the game.
Well, our second round of bans are done, and that gives Raijin the middle lane position for Space Station Gaming. Very happy that this character has been coming back, and I think Raijin will allow some of that backline damage to actually happen long range and a little bit of control as well. How you feeling?
I'm feeling that the damage that you were just described is going to be completely negated by that one pick right there. Geb Lalakin for Jeff Hinla. He knows how to push buttons. He's going to be constantly shielding anyone that's going to get focused by that Raijin.
Well, with Kronos as the last selection, a lot of damage coming out from Luminosity Gaming. Space Station have one last pick, likely to be the support player, unless we see some weird Kukulkan stuff. But it will be Khepri, the Caprese salad, coming out here at the last pick. Love how much protection that Khepri is going to be able to give. Camazotz, he wants to dive. Now he can dive even further. Peel, more importantly, on the side of Space Station Gaming. I love Jigs when he's playing protect his team, and Khepri allows him the best example to do that.
And he loves the Khepri. He was actually one of the players that heavily favored the Khepri once it was first released. And this one pick, as opposed to the Ganesh, just changes everything for Space Station. Now Scary D and Homie FA can dive the backline, leave Jigs in the back to protect Inster and Zaman. I'm liking Space Station's teamfight potential much more in this mid to late game. And
even with the issue, if you want to call it that, of a not perfect pick and ban phase, Space Station was able to, make that last one very, very close. Luminosity just coming up in the clutch, and I think it had everything to do with that Fire Giant call.
Absolutely. It was just so close to call. Now, granted, Space Station were probably willing to trade Fire Giant for a left side Phoenix because that's the most valuable one.
Oh, Scary D in trouble. Forces sprint.
The timing.
Big point. Horrific, not used.
And the timing of this is very awkward because Scary D can't go back to base. He'll just miss out on a whole wave under the right-hand side. Luminosity is going to stick to that solo lane, try to bully out Space Station, and look for invades. Look what Zaman's doing. I don't think Barracuda knows about
definitely
this.
knows he's
here.
No,
he has no
Barra
idea.
has no clue.
He's going to try to last at this and steal this away.
He got a ball. He got all three characters in that camp, and now he's running. Zero experience for Barracuda, unable to get any of that.
What a play.
Totally.
That's brilliant.
How much does that impact the game?
For the first 2 to 3 minutes makes a huge difference. Now, it's going to hit level 2 first on Zadman. He's going to be able to have the dash after the Persistent Gust and look for an offensive play.
Mask in trouble, likely to be first blood. There it is, and it goes to Jigs. Support player on Space Station Gaming, but it was the 4-man collapse from SSG. Luminosity not able to successfully take that jungle invade well.
It just seems this whole entire series, whoever's invading the speed or the blue is just trouble. Stopped in his tracks. Salmon not getting the better end of Barracuda despite those steals. Still going to have the ability to just farm his own side of the map, but Jeff Hilla and Baskin recognizing how much pressure Luminosity was on the right. They're just going to collapse on the left.
Jeff could go in lane and take advantage. No, Zatman's going to be safe and sound, no problem. Aquarius, on the other hand, a little bit of trouble there. But, you know, I asked what kind of impact that would make as Baskin finds the beads on Andy, now still looking for Jigs. A couple of basics are good, but the rest of the squad shows up, and that should be... Oh, not safety! Barracuda still looking at Jigs, who's so stuck.
Barracuda doesn't want to be able to even commit to this kill. He knows how valuable each and every wave is. A level 3 Khepri is not the best farming opportunity. So Jigs is going to get knocked up.
Oh, Baskin is here. Jigs just... so much time spent. Nice little juke. And then just finally realizes he's dead to the Baskin.
That play by Barracuda just goes to show how experienced he really is. It's like he knows he can kill Jigs if he really wanted to. But farming, getting the wave as a hunter, especially when you're level 2, level 3, is more valuable than a level 3 support kill.
So here comes Homie FA. We're on the right side. I want to highlight those the 2 hunter plays as well, because I think that they're specific to our hunters, but Homie FA says no and wants to look for Jeff Hindla. Andy with the jump forward.
No mana.
3-man blocked. That's a dead
nice stun, though, coming out of Baskin. Couldn't find the last in him, though. He got it from the last hit, but if he took one more step forward, he surely would have fell in response.
Not many hunters make that play, going back to lane, as Barracuda did, because they want the kill.
They want the stat pat.
Yeah. Barra understands big game, big picture. Baskin dead here with no ultimate. Homie if he takes care of him. Not many hunters make the back camp invade either. That man has all the confidence in the world, because if that play goes awry, you are so down.
Well, this is why anyone in the SPL picks Huyi and sticks to Huyi in a 1v1 situation, because you know that you can solo realistically the red if you wanted to, or the back camps, and get to lane quicker than almost any other hunter. Zadman, recognizing this, did the counter to the counter.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, you have to. He got all 3 of those harpies. If you don't get those harpies, you are at a net loss.
Absolutely.
And but the gamble?
The positioning of the Persistent Gust was key. If he doesn't hit the minions and knock up Barracuda at the same time, the kills on the back camps probably don't go Zap's way.
Right. And what I'm saying is it's that confidence. He goes in there knowing that he's going to get those 3 harpies. Not a question in his mind, because if he has a question in his mind, just stick to the lane, buddy. He knows he's getting that camp, and that's what's impressive.
You can have a blueprint to the beginning of the game, but everything after that is just free wildness, honestly, going on. Because Luminosity, after the fact, invaded Zap's purple, so any sort of advantage he had from that back harpy is negated.
While Mask in trouble, he's got a double dash away. Ultimate used by Andinster.
Jeff's right around the corner. He does not have Blink. He went for the shell, so he's not going to be able to find those clutch Blink ultimates. Baskin juking out the abilities from Homie FA.
He does have the rewind available now, so he'll be able to be a little bit safer, though not all the time. Zatman picks up the red and gets stunned out for it. Nice play by Barracuda.
That was very valuable, though, just by himself. The fact that Barracuda even tried that, it means that he has a lot of timing at his hands. Jeff Hilla, though, in a lot of trouble, finding the double Cataclysm, and he's going to take a tumble.
Homie FA, just out of control. He makes the body block by coming around, wrapping around the character, making sure that Jeff isn't able to walk further, gets the Khepri ult, still goes into his ultimate, waits, then finds the damage. I'm telling you, man, watching this guy come back to form has been fantastic.
I still want to see Homie FA play a little bit more than just the Camazotz. He has such a diverse god pool. Now, he does play some of those utility junglers every now and then, but that's not his identity, like you were saying. You want to see him play these assassins.
Yeah!
But, can you do that again?
Nah.
Okay. Anyway, even the cameraman is like, please stop. His God pull in terms of even the assassin role, he's been known to play a lot of aggressive.
He brought the
support.
Naja out last week. I mean, this is. I think if Space Station Gaming is to be successful, CoachF.com, Homie FA, aggressive assassins, jigs, protective supports. I don't know what you do with Scary D. Zapman, let him do whatever he wants, and then Andy, let him do whatever he wants. That's how Space Station Gaming finds success in my eyes. I think that you got to give the tools to the players, and I respect and I think it was valuable watching Space Station Gaming try different stuff. What happens if we give Osiris Jungle to Homie FA? Well, you found out what happens. You don't win as hard as when you give him a strong-handed, aggressive assassin. So, you know what? You learned it. You did the experiment. Sweet dealio. Now just stick to it.
Just putting themselves in a better position once it comes time for LAN when everything is on the line. It's still really early in this fall split, the most important split, heading into HRX, heading into Super Regionals and the Gauntlet. So this is still like the training grounds, I would say, for both of these two teams.
This is when you gotta go. I think the training ground, sure. Spring split, summer split, people wanna get there. That's where you're learning, you're getting yourself into gear. You go to DreamHack, you're playing in front of a LAN crowd right there, sure. But when it comes down to now, it's all chips on the table. Check out this right side, though.
Check out Baskin, though, taking a lot of damage in mid. Forced to use the Beast. The rotation from Homie FA, not enough damage before the rewind occurring.
Yeah, Aquarius falling down to the two-man gank behind the Tier 1 tower, and Andy gonna suffer the same fate this time around. Homie FA, I don't know if he can 1 versus 3, but the team shows up, so he doesn't have to. Homie FA with his 3rd kill of the game takes down Baskin.
What a performance already coming out of Space Station. They find 6 kills for themselves. They even pick off Aquarius off camera on the right-hand side.
They dove him 2 men strong behind the Tier 1 tower.
Still had enough timing to make the rotation back to mid, avenging Inister, who hard committed onto the kill on Baskin. You don't necessarily always have to use your 3-4 damage. Sometimes it's better to save it.
Right there. Trouble on the red buff.
Barracuda didn't want to pick it up, knowing he would get knocked up.
Barracuda. 3rd time's a charm. There you go, Barry.
No, that was on purpose the first 2 times.
Oh, he was juking the red buff?
No. The red buff was right on top of the persistent gust.
Okay.
If he takes it, then he's going to get knocked up even further away from Zatman. And because he didn't take the red buff, Zatman uses that ultimate defensively.
All right. It looked like so he was just checking on it to see if the persistent gust was still there.
Yeah, I think what he really wanted to do was main max his positioning, seeing if he can like scoop the red buff without actually taking the persistent gust.
Now I buy it.
Yeah.
Now I buy it. Totally still has a smirk on his face.
I always have a smirk on my face when I'm casting with you.
You could have stopped that sentence a couple of words earlier. You always have a smirk on your face. Totally. Totally a good time, folks. Remember Tea Time with Tolly?
Oh, yeah.
It was some of the first content Anatoly put out, but he still had long hair. We used to have a nice zen moment of analysis on the pre-recorded video site, watching Tolly just break everything down. And now you do it up here.
I had a fan.
With the lights.
I had a fan from Yorkshire actually send me some tea to actually try at that episode.
Gold Fury being pulled by Space Station. Now, I love what Ryan said last week. Gold Fury is going to Space Station.
Where is Luminosity? Hello?
They have vision. I don't know about that one.
Not the most optimal backs in the world out of Luminosity. Whenever Gold Fury is up, yeah, I think too many people from Luminosity backed at the same time or getting their back camps at the same time. Although Right's about to spawn, I think lefts were taken earlier, and the timing couldn't be any worse for Luminosity. Losing this Gold Fury allows Space Station a 4,000 gold lead.
Because that's a ward there.
Yeah, that's a regular blue ward on the mini-map.
Yeah.
Right in front of that Gold Fury.
Boom.
They knew it.
Yeah, Luminosity had full... That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. Because Aggro said something last game where he called it a response time checker, right? You throw the brick through the window of the bank, and you see how long it takes for the cops to get there, and then you make your plan to rob the bank afterwards, right? That's what you see. That's what you saw Space Station go for there. They're like, all right, we'll start it, and when they show up, we'll make a better plan for next time.
They're throwing another brick.
Hey, nobody showed up. And now Space Station, they got another brick, guys. Hey, we're just going to, when Luminosity shows up, we're going to back off.
They're not showing up.
I guess we'll just take it. Does LG win something across the map because of that?
No, they're not getting any tier 1 towers.
They lose a tier 1 on the right side as well?
Zatman's going to have to use that ultimate defensively. Purification Bead still in his pocket for later, but that's a little curious.
A lot of times, and I've taken issue with this, a lot of times commentators, not just in SMITE, but other esports as well, we say, that's so free. But usually it's paid in advance.
Yeah.
There's a team fight that kills 3 people, and then it's a 5-on-2, and they take an uncontested objective, and you say free, right?
Sure.
But no, you paid in advance.
There needed to
Those objectives were actually free.
There needed to be some sort of contention.
There was no investment.
Luminosity just not in the right place or at the right time. And Barracuda actually jumping in mid lane could dive this if Space Station really wanted to, but instead they're all going to collapse on the left-hand side. They're zoning Barracuda from the left-hand side to allow Zatman maybe to get this tower?
I think that's gameplay. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
They're cutting him off.
Just cutting off the path. Fantastic positioning, allowing this to happen. Zatman's still not able to get the tower.
If Anister committed to the cutoff alongside Jigs, then maybe Zap would have the timing. It would have only been a 2-on-3 because it would have been Barra and Jeff alone. However, they did. Space Station didn't want to risk too many members there in case they would all get collapsed on. Not every member from Luminosity was visible on the map.
Well, I know it's early. I'm still like incredulous at this last sequence. I mean, 12 and a half minutes in, 6-2 read the kills, but I don't care. It's the 5,000 to 6,000 gold lead that Space Station Gaming got for no reason.
It's also the 7,000 experience that they're just constantly building off of. There's no response available for Luminosity. They can't overextend to a tier 1 tower. Now they have no more objectives to take, and with this kind of downward spiral, Scary D gonna dive onto Mask.
And he's gonna go ahead and be safe and sound. Not too big of a deal. Nice shield. Nice Nemesis shield. There's the ultimate on Scary D. 3-man stun. Good looks for Luminosity in this team fight. Space Station Gaming. Still, Aquarius gonna be selected, taunted into the crab, and Homie FA puts a lucky number 7 up for Space Station Gaming. Mask in trouble as well.
Zatman could go in here. The Blake onto Bastion.
Got him! He got him! Scary D gets the last hit off of the assist from the entire team, bringing down Baskin mid-rewind before he gets the extra life.
Dynasty Plate Helmet on Baskin, not enough to survive. This is why we're seeing more and more Cronoses start to build into health, whether it's the Book of Dead, whether it's the Warlock Sash. That little bit of health could allow you to get the rewind off. Dynasty Plate Helmet is not enough protections to survive.
Space Station Gaming, Tully, that fight looked like Luminosity coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Sure, but without Aquarius really making the big impact, his ultimate was down. He was the first victim of that engagement. The rest of Space Station could easily go do whatever they want 5-on-4. I think that Luminosity, they're just spectators alongside you and me now.
That's what it feels like. How do you feel about that last engagement, Barracuda?
Silent.
No, Barra's silent, just like he was in the response to the gold fury.
I thought you were waiting for me to impersonate Barracuda's voice.
I would never ask you to do that.
Why not?
All right, let's see you do, can you do an impression of Zatman?
This is Zatman right here.
That's it?
Yeah, just silence.
That's your whole, okay.
It's just silence.
Just silence?
Yep.
All right, let's hear your Barracuda.
Hold on. After the silence and after I'm dead.
Where's my team? All right, excellent job. Right side, Homie FA forcing the ultimate. Looks like LG had the upper hand there for the moment. But Space Station Gaming still, Control is putting it lightly. They're 6,000 gold ahead at 14 minutes. They've had it. And then again, another solo of the Gold Fury. That time, like, Luminosity are preoccupied. They're dealing with a team. Now, I think that if they had vision or control of that, there's no vision over there, they might have tried to respond. But Space Station zoned them out so that Zatman could solo the Gold Fury. That one, all well and good, but earlier on, about the 10, 11 minute mark, Space Station got their lead because they decided to get a lead. That was the whole decision.
the way you could tell that a team's playstyle is a little bit too passive or just kind of crumbling under its own feet is the positioning of their wards. All of Luminosity's wards are under that middle invisible line marker, right underneath Gold Fury, right beside their speed and blue buff, just really respecting too much, I would say, of the aggression from Space Station. It's also because if they overextend a little bit too much with their deficit that they have now, they will get picked off.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what's winding up happening.
They just need to find a way to pick somebody off. Their best bet, honestly, is to send people at Zapman because he's going to be farming 1v1 as a Jingwei anyway, so you might have to concede something on the right to get back, maybe get Barracuda a little bit more escalated towards that late game.
What do you concede? Tier 2 tower?
Well, you could see obviously giant? Portal Demon. And if you're conceding Portal Demon, it doesn't seem that Luminosity is going to contest
Luminosity
the Fire
is
Giant.
Already conceding Portal Demon.
Yeah, like, I don't see Luminosity defending anything this whole game. They're not contesting the Portal Demon for the second time. The first Gold Fury should have easily been at least checked on. And now, the Fire Giant could be looked at by Space Station. They have the control that they need.
Nice knock up. The ultimate used on top of Zapman. Zapman still getting targeted by the tower. Rotation coming out from Jigs.
I thought Jigs was about to wrap around, but I think he's out Mask rotating right behind him.
Root going to be narrowly avoided. Jigs trying so hard to make Mask ult him. He's just dying. He's like, please ult me.
He has, there's no point to realistically ulti a Capri as a Nemesis. First of all, the shield is going to be a slight buffer for a lot of the damage from Nemesis. And not only that, there's the Scarab's Blessing to revive him.
Yep. Too smart. Mask not taking the bait.
And that's why when I see picks and bans, sometimes, whenever I see an early get pick or whatnot, sometimes I'm expecting a Khepri ban because you're trying to dictate how long these team fights are going to happen and, you know, use your shield more often than not. And you don't really want to fight fire with fire because Khepri can make team fights last a long time as well. Yeah.
Well, right side, Space Station looking like they want to make a play for this tier 2 tower. Already knocked it down to about 65%. Now with the minions coming forward, Space Station will have a little bit of a window, but still some nonsense going on in the jungle. And Space Station look to retreat there, trying to take care of the 2 carries that are left alone without any tanks. Not going to be the case.
Close.
Just a retreat.
Still battling for positioning. This is what Luminosity need to do. Get the Sentry Wards that they need, but this means go. Sprint has been popped. Ainister eats the Nemesis ultimate, but he's still really fine in the backline. It's actually basking in a lot of trouble as he gets the rewind off.
I love the decision by Scary D to find the backside and just hit him with the ultimate. Space Station still need to find a kill. It should be Jeff Hindley if he dies, and he does. Homie FA off the assist from Scary D.
Scary D's not even done yet either. Mask is trying to get out of there. Stunned back into Homie FA, finding the ability from a distance. 2 dead members from Luminosity.
The whole sequence, Scary D just setting up for his jungler. And he's set up there by Jigs, excuse me. So it's a 3-for-1. A Scary D does go down, but Scary D's already done his job.
Look at Ainister underneath trying to do the damage onto Baskin, knowing that the rewind is down, using the Aegis trying to buy some time. Jigs is going to use the ultimate on himself, and 2 more members down from Luminosity. Jeff Hindley has respawned, and that's a technical deicide.
What a play by the entire team. Scary D sets up Homie FA for 2 or 3 separate kills in 2 or 3 separate exchanges. Also starts the game off, starts the team fight off fantastically, blinking on the back end. Love that call, whoever made it. And then, as you noted, Ainister coming around. If everything goes according to plan, Andy detonates the Raju, gets a double kill from the Bing Bang Boom. But unfortunately for him, he's got to wait a little bit and only get 1 kill. Deicide go to Space Station. You want to know what, though, Tully? Luminosity at least looked involved there.
They have to try to do something. If not, you might as well just F6 at this point anyway if you're not going to contest any sort of objective. Luminosity, the one attempt that they did to drop a Sentry Ward, instantly answered by Space Station. They got off a lot of damage onto Sandman early in the fight, forcing him to disengage, but it was all Scary D making the plays happen, sacrificing himself for all 5 members out of Luminosity.
Yeah, just a wonderful setup. Wonderful setup. Scary D really coming through in the clutch there. 3-1-4 for the solo winner so far.
And you were asking me earlier on, I think in the last game, of Scary D's impact for Space Station. not only in this set, but in the rest of the split. And we can clearly see he's a huge asset moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we keep seeing more plays like that on a Scary D, that's exactly what Space Station need. They need that dedicated setup, man. They know that Homie, Andy, and Zapman are going to do the killing, and they know that Jigs is going to do the peeling. Scary D's got to do the setting up. And right now, Space Station with bad luck 13. Absolutely crushing Luminosity. LG had a dominant lead last time around, but Space Station Gaming this time, woof.
Different change of pace also, because I think at the end of the last game, it was something about 10 kills to 9 in response, still being an extremely close game. But this time around, Luminosity just not at the right place at the right time. All these objectives, Space Station's way.
Yeah, it seems like Luminosity was just sleeping. I don't really know what's happening. I have no clue. 3 separate objectives gone without Luminosity even showing up. Gold's Fury, Portal Demon, and then a right side tier 1 tower. And that was just 5,000 gold, and that's how the game sort of started.
You know what's happening here, Tom, today? All 3 of these games, whoever wins the first one is just almost destined to lose the next one.
So is that it? Luminosity, we're like,
it's
well,
just a bad curse.
We don't want to break the pattern, so we'll just hang out and sit on our hands. Is that the case?
It seems to be at all. Space Station trying to make something happen around this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Yet again, another free objective, 1,500 gold on top of their already 10,000 plus gold lead.
Wow. Just taking it away from them, man. Space Station making it look easy.
Yeah.
And Luminosity, one of the stronger teams around, not at all.
This is going to be, if they lose this, that is, sure. Luminosity is going to have to experience their first loss this split.
Okay. You think that's going to be rough?
I can't really count out Luminosity after this one loss, honestly, because of how experienced each individual member from Space Station is. I'm more interested to see how Space Station rolls with this in the future, if this is the spark that they need to start winning almost all of their games.
Yeah, when it comes down to it for me, knowing the guys relatively well on Luminosity, these guys handle adversity really well. I don't expect them to really get in trouble or be upset.
Poor Barracuda getting dove by Homie FA and Scary D. The Sun's on top of him. Get shield for good measure.
Patience!
Still not enough.
Look at the patience, just waiting for that shell and the shield to wear off. Mask in trouble. Nice blink forward from Mask, and he's just going to get handled by Andinster. The turnaround on the Baskin just as strong. He's going to go down without answering back. 3 players dead on the side of Luminosity Gaming. And Space Station walking up to the Fire Giant. Now this time, Toli, I understand that Luminosity doesn't respond.
2 on 5. There's no possible way to stop this Fire Giant objective whatsoever. First one of the game for Space Station. They should be able to get this right-hand side towers. They're all grouped up. Probably not going to commit to the Phoenix quite yet. Zapman's a little low. Or
Jigs has ult. Jigs has ult. Scary D has ult. This is where you say you throw caution to the wind. You've got almost a 10,000 gold lead. You got the Fire Giant. You have the Protective ultimate. You have the Initiation ultimate. Homie FA's ult is just about to be up. This is where you say go for it. Space Station, they don't agree.
There was a lot of gold in hand, honestly. We saw the left-hand side of your screen. 3, 4, 5 members, all with over 1,000 gold in hand. And honestly, better safe than sorry.
Now that, yeah, sure, I'll go for it.
They're trying to finish off their 5th items.
I just wanted to see them just bring the pain, man.
It's a little too spicy, even for Space Stations.
I don't know, man. We talk about spice being level of aggression. I think Space Station's like eating ghost peppers for breakfast, okay?
That's pretty high up there on the Scoville unit.
Oh, look at you pulling out the pepper words.
What's the hottest pepper you ever ate?
Ghost peppers, probably.
Oh, wow. How did you feel? How are you alive right next to me?
Not so bad. I mean, I'm not trying to pull like the macho thing. I mean, I obviously was like tearing and like I wasn't sitting there like I'm so cool.
Did you do it for a challenge or did you like dice it up and put it into something?
Oh, both. I mean, I did it to like, you know, for a challenge. Like, I bet you can't eat the pepper, but I did. But either way, spice, little bit of spice is what keeps the wins coming. And Space Station Gaming put a little bit of spice. And that's that man Jingwei pick. I don't know if that's spicy. I just needed something to go with my analogy. Left side, however, Space Station Gaming just torrential downpour here.
Sprint.
On the left side.
Sprint was used. Jeffilla going in with the Cataclysm and knock up. Zadman's forced out of the fight instantly. Jigs using his ultimate, trying to peel for his hunters. Aquarius, though, having to use that ultimate to escape, but it's just not enough. Jigs with a double kill.
Just completely spread out. Space Station Gaming farming them down. Scary D with that kill. Number 19 for Space Station. That's all.